Good evening, one and all present in this virtual session on redefining libraries with digital tools. Once again, I welcome you all to the third day of the event. I hope that all the sessions which we have conducted for the benefit of library professionals and profession as well are really beneficial and are going to be beneficial in your future. In the same process, today we are going to have discussion about some very important topic which is related to research. As we all are aware that research is a very complex in nature, and also research is a important activity of any academician or any research scholar. Also, we being a library professional, we have this responsibility to assist the research scholar or the faculty members, whoever approaching to you for the knowledge or to have discussion about the different tools available for conducting the successful research or carrying out the research. So in this process, we are also aware that there are many these tools available due to the advent of technology. Using those tools, we can conduct or we can make our research more meaningful, more easy, and also we can assist the faculty members or research scholar for better research output. So, to have a detailed discussion today on the research, conducting systematic research, literature review, using the different AI tools, we have with us Dr. Shri Ram Pandey, Associate Professor from Central University of Haryana. I request all of you to please join me to welcome Dr. Pandey to this event. Sir, we welcome you to the workshop. Before I begin the session and hand over the studio to Dr. Pandey, I would like to brief about Dr. Pandey. Dr. Shri Ram Pandey is currently working in the capacity of Associate Professor and Head at Department of Library and Information Science, Central University Haryana, Mahendragarh. Prior to Central University of Haryana, he has also worked in different other renowned institutions in the different capacity, such as Assistant Professor at Department of Library and Information Science, Banaras Hindu University. Then he worked in the Mohanlal Sukhadia University, Udaipur, in the capacity of assistant professor, and for many years he has also served in the capacity of assistant librarian at LNMIT Jaipur. He is the recipient of prestigious Commonwealth Professional Fellowship at University of East London, UK. Also has been awarded Method University Thailand Research Fellow from 2024 to 2027. He is holding the master degree in library science from BHU, Banaras Hindu University, and information and knowledge management from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, PG Deland from University of Hyderabad, and the highest degree, that is the PhD from Sambalpur University, Odisha. He is an expert in designing and developing learner-centric massive open online courses and trained thousands of professionals and teachers of various institutions in the country. His research interest includes educational technology, e-learning, research methodology, ontology, semantic web, and knowledge management. To his credit, he has published more than 50 research papers, which are in UGC Care List, Scopus, or Web of Science Index, journals, and conference proceeding, guided four PhD students as well. He has received several awards and fellowships to his career achievement, including Jawaharlal Nehru Memorial Award, UGC Junior Research Fellowship, and he is also the recipient of gold medal during his study time. So it is really pleasure and honor for all the learners and for me as well to have you on the studio to guide all of us to deliver the uh, discuss or throw lights on the different aspect of research. So once again, we are really very thankful for finding valuable time, though Dr. Pandey is not well due to some health issue, but he has agreed to just deliver talk, scheduled talk. So may I request now Dr. Pandey to please take over the session. Over to you, please.
Thank you so much, Dr. D.P. Tripathi, and librarian guide, who has given me opportunity to share my experiences on a very relevant topic, that is a systematic literature review using AI. And this topic is very relevant in the context of librarians as well. So it is not only a topic of research domain, which is a multidisciplinary and transdisciplinary. It is equally important because being a library professionals, we have been involved in conducting literature reviews. So this domain is somehow very trendy topic nowadays, and I'll be, because time is very short, I'll summarize that what are the protocols, what are the standards, what are the ways, and what are the modalities are available to conduct a systematic literature review. So what I have experienced, I am going to demonstrate you a practical way that how we are going to conduct systematic literature review. Okay. So with permission, I think I have permission to share my screen, right, sir?
Yes, yes, please go ahead.
So sharing my screen. It must be visible to everyone.
Yeah, it is visible. It is visible.
Okay. So without wasting the time, let me define the learning outcomes of today's lecture. So I'll be talking on the fundamental of literature review and systematic literature review, which is the key aspect. Without knowing the difference between both, we cannot able to understand that what is how systematic literature review has to draw a conceptual framework or a theoretical framework on the topic. Then we'll be discussing the important aspect that how to write SLR papers, and there is a standards guideline available for that, which is known as SLR paper format. And popularly, we adopted a protocol which is known as Prisma. Then I'll be talking about techniques and guidelines to conduct an SLR. And at the end, I'll be telling you that how you can analyze and interpret the data which has been extracted from so many database, and we conduct an SLR for for your PhDs or your research paper. So go, so let me develop the context of today's lecture with the purpose of systematic literature review. Okay. So there are several purposes of SLR. That's why SLR is very important. It is totally a different concept of traditional review of literature. So, if you look at the primary objective of systematic literature review is to find out what information is already exist in your field of studies. So, if you are going to explore the traditional review of literature techniques, you will find that you only it has option that there were no standard methodology, and peoples are have their own way to review of literature. Only it was justly choose and pick option. Just like you search Google Scholar or any database, whatever the papers, research papers, conference proceedings, and other type of resources you get. Generally, people are downloading it, and they were reviewing those papers in the view of a particular domain. But what happened by pick and choose method, just like so many literatures are available on a particular topic, and you have downloaded only few articles, how could you map the all the information which has been exist in a particular domain? Even none of the database can map all the literature which has been published in a particular domain. So SLR is a way to find out what are all the information, at least the relevant information, the relevant documents available in a particular domain. So it is beyond the pick and choose method. Here we can, at least we can search the major database like Scopus, Web of Science, and many other databases. Okay, and we can merge all the data sets together, and this is the way to find out all the necessary, all the important information, all the important document available in a particular field. The second purpose of systematic literature review is to identify the gaps in literature. So this is not a very new phenomena in our traditional review of literature field. Whenever a candidate, they conduct they pursue the PhD program, the research supervisor often advise them to conduct a literature search. Why? To conduct the research gap. So by pick and choose method, you have downloaded few papers, and you have reviewed those paper, and you are saying that in every synopsis you will find that um, through literature review it has been found that none of or only few studies have been conducted in a particular domain. That's why the study is very timely and significant. So how could you claim that you identify the research gap by pick and choose method? You have downloaded few papers from the Google Scholars or any other database, and you are claiming that you identify the research gap. Frankly speaking, by traditional review of literature, you won't be able to identify the research gap because it is simply pick and choose method. Whatever available with you, you are only reviewing those papers. So how could you identify the research gaps through those techniques? That's why SLR is very, very important. That it helps you to identify research gaps. Okay. There is another purpose to review systematic review literatures is to find out other people working in the field. So if you are choosing the traditional way of review of literature that has been conducted by pick and choose method, okay, how could you find out the most prolific authors, researcher in a respective field? It is simply not possible because you have downloaded few papers, and how could you able to identify the who are the most prominent authors in a particular field, who are the prominent researcher, who are the prolific authors in respective field, and what are their contributions? You simply cannot do. That's why SLR is very important, and we need to conduct an SLR. Another important aspect of conducting an SLR is to find out major seminal work. This is another dimension that even Ranganathan has not Ranganathan, using Garfield. He has introduced the concept of citation indexing, and further, he has also introduced the concept of classics, classics paper, and which further lead to the citation classics. That is the most significant work in the particular field. So by picking and choosing few papers, how could you be able to identify that what are the classics works in the particular field? Just like in library science, in terms of the books, there are several books which can be considered as a classics books. So classics cannot be determined by pick and choose method. You have selected, and if someone asks that what are the most prominent studies in a particular field, you cannot, you don't have any evidence because you did not map all the literature in a respective domain. So that's why it is very important to conduct a systematic literature review. And another dimension of SLR to identify methodology and research techniques. So suppose that you have downloaded few papers, and if someone asks that what are the methodology and technique adopted by those authors in their papers, you could able to identify only few techniques and methodology, but not all the techniques and methodologies. So you cannot even determine the research trend. That's why SLR is very important to conduct. Another dimension of SLR is it helps to identify the major areas, okay, theories. It also establishes the similarity and differences between the studies and among the studies. That is another aspect. It further lead to the it provide context to the research in the sense that what we have been doing in literature review, we review the literature often thematically, chronological, reverse chronological, or somehow in a way that is suitable for for uh, uh, as per your university guidelines, okay, or suitable for your supervisors. There is no standard methodology exists to conduct a traditional review of literature. So it also helps because you are identifying the theories, you are also making comparisons, similarity, and differences. It helps you to provide the context to the research. And it is very, very valuable. That's why we need to conduct SLR. And also it has to provide relationship with the previous studies. What we have been doing? We have been doing traditional review of literature in the way of thematic distributions, chronological order, reverse chronological order, and there are other ways. Okay, but what was the lacuna of those kind of studies that it failed? We were arranging the studies chronologically, reverse chronological, thematically, but it often failed to develop a relationship among those studies. So, what is the relationship between those studies which has been conducted in a particular domain? And just like we want to develop a conceptual framework or evolution, we want to present our trends, evolutions. Okay, then then traditional review techniques are failed to do that. Okay, that's why we need to conduct a systematic literature review. So now we have a basic idea that why SLR is very important and why to conduct a, SLR. Let us have a broader viewpoint. In traditional review of literature, you must be knowing that it is an expert review, okay, and it is often subjective in nature. So here in traditional review of literature, we generally identify, summarize, and evaluate the current theory and practices. Okay, so it is the way. There is no standard methodology to conduct a traditional review of literature. Okay, so often we conduct thematically, evolution type, or chronological type. Okay, but in SLR it is completely different. Systematic review of literature, it's a summary of research literature that is focused on research question. Here there is no research question defined. Okay, so it is always start with a research question in terms of what, how, when. Okay, and it is conducted in a manner. Okay, it has established protocol that has to identify, to select, to appraise and synthesize all the high quality of research evidences relevant to that question. So it is always centered towards that research question, okay, which leads to identify the research gap, which also helps to develop the objective of research. So, what is the benefit of conducting an SLR? That in traditional review of literature, it is pick and choose method. Okay, whatever the available literature you have simply you you picked up, you down, and you reviewed. So it is based on your availability. You have taken, just like you have available Google Scholar, so you have used Google Scholar. Suppose that you have availability of JSTOR, you took or you downloaded the papers from JSTOR. So so SLR always reduce the biasness of those pick and choose. Okay, so because it has established, it is based on established protocol, so it increase the reliability of studies, as well as it will potentially it improve the communication of the findings. And how it can be done, I'll be telling you in the next couple of slides. So there are two major components of any SLR. One is the descriptive analysis, and second is the literature classification. There is another concept which is very popular nowadays, which is known as meta-analysis. And popularly nowadays, people are using these terms as systematic literature review and meta-analysis, SLR and M. Okay, so it is nothing but when we deploy the statistical technique with systematic literature review. Okay, so it is meta-analysis. So use of statistical method to combine the result of various independent and dependent variables and similar studies known as meta-analysis. Just like you are trying to find out correlation between the theories and relationship between the theories, then we can go for conducting a meta-analysis. So meta-analysis is nothing but just SLR plus statistical method. Okay, so it is known as SLR and M. So if you look at here, this is the box, and you will be finding here that the systematic literature reviews and traditional review of literature have been evaluated based on so many parameters. So here, if you look at need-wise, so systematic literature review can be conducted if you want to answer a question. Okay, but because it is always centered toward the research question. But in traditional review of literature, it is often a empirical studies, okay, of the few papers. Okay, so you are just developing the theoretical background of the research. Here in research protocol, you will see that in SLR it has a established research protocol. In traditional review of literature, it is not required. Research selection process, if you see, it is always structured and replicable, but in traditional review of literature, it is not structured and not replicable. Okay, evaluation process also, it uses a protocol and it is objectively defined. Okay, here it is a researcher choice and it is always subjective in nature. Here data extraction process, if you concern, you can use the protocol or objective uh, as uh, as given in Prisma framework. Here also in traditional review of literature, it is always a researcher choice, because there is no way to conduct the research without objectivity. Okay, so it is standard way to conduct the research. Here research synthesis SLR always helps to develop the framework and knowledge gap. Okay, and here there is no such kind of framework can be developed using traditional review of literature. Here time, if you look at, because systematic literature review, you have to use more than one data sets. It is always recommended. Even there are several studies which says that you should use at least four database. Okay, so it takes time to merge those data set and conduct SLR. But in traditional review of literature, relatively you take less time. And if you want to find the answers to your research question, then go for SLR. And if you want to do the background research or empirical research, then you can go for traditional review of literature. So now you must be have understanding that why SLR is important. I'm summarizing in it uh, 4 points. First is through SLR, it is very easy to map the existing understanding on any problem, because it is centered towards a research question. Okay, so that's why it is very easy to map the existing knowledge. If you are using more than one data set, okay, and you are merging all data set. It's very easy that you can claim that all these existing documents you have mapped, okay. So it is very easy to do that. Second is because it follows a rigorous scientific methodology, so it is very very important that if you are writing a SLR paper, it is going to accepted for a very prestigious journals, okay, because it has a scientific base. It follows a scientific methodology which is known as prisma. There is another aspect why SLR is very important, that through SLR it is easy to and quick references can be drawn, because it is entirely based on a data sets, okay. So whatever the data sets you have, you can easily you can draw the inferences out of that data. So it is nothing but a data science. You are playing with the data, okay, and it is very easy as compared to the traditional review of literature. Another aspect why SLR is very important, that it is very easy to publish in a high cited journal. Okay, so if you look at the present scenarios of conducting SLR in a particular domain, and peoples are in respective of all the domain, okay, all the domain I have seen, now peoples are publishing the papers on SLR. Earlier we had large number of papers in the medical science, but I have seen, I personally am observing that in all domain peoples are publishing SLR papers. So if you are good in writing SLR paper, it can be published easy in any of respective journals, and with a very high impact factor journals it can be published. And this is also a trend, that if you are publishing um, SLR paper, it is getting highly citation, because this is the trendy topic, okay. So that's why. So sources of literature for review. So I'll skip this part because of the time limitation. There are so many sources we have. We have peer-reviewed articles. We have books and chapters. We have conference papers. We have professional bodies and websites. So all these sources can be used for conducting systematic literature reviews. So we have Web of Science. We have Scopus. We have Google Scholars. We have CiteSeerX. We have Dimension database, we have PubMed database, we have MassSciNet, we have AFSCO Business Source Complete, we have JSTOR, we have so many other database, and these all sources are very relevant to conduct the SLR. So based on the literature source you have selected, okay, you have to conduct SLR, um, and it is always recommended that you take more than four database, at least four database you can take for conducting a database, so that you can claim that you have mapped at least the relevant literature, um, and all the relevant literature published in a particular domain. So there were studies that how to identify the database and search strategy. So this was one of the studies conducted by the authors, and which database they can take and consider to conduct an SLR. So in this study, the authors have taken 28 database and search system, and on the 27 criteria they have evaluated, and they have found that these 14 database and repositories and search platforms, okay, can be used to conduct a SLR. So just like ACM Digital Library, Scopus is there, okay, Virtual Health Library, Wiley Online Library, Web of Science, and so many other database uh, can be taken for. So this is studies has been conducted in 2018, and nowadays we got so many other platforms. So that can be also included in this database. Okay, so conducting an SLR is very important, and to conduct an SLR, it is very important for us to develop the search strategy. And strategies can be developed based on the keywords. So we have to identify all the relevant keyword on a particular topic based on the research question we have framed. Just like here, one research question have been framed, okay, that can antibiotics cure the common cold? Okay, can antibiotics cure the common cold? So here, if you look at the keywords, so here antibiotics, cure, and common colds are the keyword which can be used for further developing of search strategies. We need to identify the synonyms word, broader term, related term, and we need to use the operators, search strategic operators like Boolean operators. So how could we develop the search strategies? This is one of the example I have taken, that there are three main aspects uh, to develop a search strategy. First, we need to use the synonyms and abbreviation of the concept, the keywords that we have identified. Then we need to use the Boolean operators, that is and or not operators, and then we use to limit the search. So this is the three stage process to develop a search strategy. Just like this is one example I have taken here, okay, that I want to do a systematic review on burnout among nurses during COVID-19. Okay, so how could we proceed? So here, if you identify the keywords, we have three important keywords. One is burnout, second is the nurses, and third is COVID-19. So here I have to identify all the similar words, synonyms word, and abbreviation. Here you look at, I have identified that concept first, okay, that is burnout, concept second, that is nurse, concept third, that is COVID-19. Here for burnout, okay, I have been I have identified the burnout. Similar word is stress, depression, frustration, nervous breakdown, emotional exhaustion. Okay, that is the that is the uh, that is the first stage that we have identified. Second stage is the
Please share the PPT again. I think it is.
Okay, okay, okay.
Please continue.
So I was here, I think. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So based on the search strategy we have adopted, okay, based on three concept, here we have developed a search string, okay, and if you look at it has three component. The first component, second component, and all are connected through the end operator because we need all three concept in our search strategy. Okay, so this is way we develop the search strategies, and this is it may varies from one database to another, but more or less the basic idea of developing search strategy and search string is same with all the database. Okay, so here I have included one example, that search strategy to identify the research problem. This is the title: legal aspect of economic condition of women at workplace. So if I use the phrase searching, it means that it took this whole words as a one phrase, one sentence, okay, one word: women in workplace. So it retrieve all the result which carries the word women in workplace together. So it retrieves 6313 result. And if I adopted a search strategy based on and or not operator, here you look at, I have used a truncation search. Okay, so it retrieve women or women, and work or workplace or office or factory, the women who work work at workplace or in office or in a factory. They, it may be considered as they are working at workplace, but certainly if women is working at home, it cannot be considered as a workplace. So that's why it has been used not operator. So out of 6870 documents, okay, if I refine the further, that is the third stage of search strategy. So I have refined through economic conditions. So out of 6870 result, I got 271 result, and I want a legal aspect. So again, I refined the result, okay, through the law. Okay, so I got only 17 result. So now reviewing the 70 papers is much easy. Okay, so this is another example I took. Just like I am searching a coronavirus with all the synonyms and word. Here I have used a phrase searching, and I have used only one keyword: coronavirus. Okay, so I got 1300 13,000. It was the initial days of coronavirus. Okay, so I got 13,431 result, and then I refined the result with the end operator, that out of 13,431 document, how many documents have been published by China. So it is 2979 document. Okay, so out of those documents, how many documents have been published by Italy? It is 412 documents. And if I want to know that how many documents have been produced by Italy and China together, it is 20 documents. And then I wanted to know that how many documents have been dealing with the which has been published by Italy and dealing exclusive with the economic condition. It has only two documents. Okay, so this way we can refine the result. And if I want that out of 2979 document which has been published by China, how many documents were dealing with the vaccine aspect, it is 543. And again, I wanted to know that how we can, out of 412 document which has been have been produced by Italy, how many documents are dealing with the vaccines aspect, so that is 40. So this way we need to develop the search strategies, and we need to refine the result. Okay, so that we can get the key papers on a particular domain. So if you look at the SLR paper format, SLR paper format has a four component. The first component is the introduction. The second component is the methodology. The third component is the result and interpretation. Fourth component is the conclusion and discussion. So there are four component of any SLR paper. Okay. So introduction, the existing knowledge on a particular problem, limitation of existing knowledge, and research question. It is the predefined template. If you go to the SLR protocols and guidelines, they have given that in which component what should be written. Okay. In methodology section, you have to write the Prisma framework, which include the search strategies, selection criteria, quality assessment, and data extraction process. In the third component, that is result and interpretation, it has two important component. One is the descriptive analysis, which is more or less a bibliometric kind of analysis. Okay, here we have to give the year-wise publications, country-wise distribution, most cited papers, most cited journals, and any other relevant information related to the descriptive data. Okay, you can give here. The second component of this result and interpretation section is the conclusion and discussion. Here you have to give the conclusion about the SLR paper. Here sorry for interruption.
No, no problem. No problem. It happens due to some network issue sometimes.
I don't know why it is happening today. Okay. So I was telling you about that is the fourth component. Here we need to, in conclusion and discussion, we need to map the existing finding with existing literature, that if your find how your findings are similar to the existing findings, and if it is different, how it is different and why it is different. Okay. You also have to mention the limitation of the studies, and you have to set the future agenda for your work. Okay. So data analysis and interpretation, there are two parts which I have been telling you about. One is in SLRP, this is a key aspect, okay, which is the key component, that you have to write the descriptive analysis. Year-wise distribution or AGR you can mention, general country and author-wise distribution you can mention, you can citation and database wide distribution you can mention, and keyword trends also you could mention in descriptive analysis. And now people are integrating bibliometrics analysis with the SLR, so both can be done. Okay, so you can include bibliometrics plus SLR together. In literature classification, you can classify the literature, okay, based on the method and treatment differentiations. Relationship analysis can be performed, contextual and theory analysis can be performed, and conceptual can be performed. I'll be telling you how you can do that. Okay. So what is the main steps to carrying out a systematic literature review? So if you look at this university, the University of Auckland, they have defined a very good strategy to conduct a systematic literature review. So they have given that in a document they have created a LibGuide, okay, and they mentioned that there are four stages to conduct a systematic literature review. That is the planning stage, systematic literature searching stage, appraisal and synthesis stage, and reporting and finding stage. This is the four stage. Due to time limitation, I am not able to elaborate all the concept, but this is the four standard stage that can be used to conduct a SLR. So in the, if you look at the second component, that is the methods. So method includes the the search strategies, the data extraction process, and the Prisma framework. So this is the key methodology. This is the key protocol which is known as Prisma. Okay, preferred reporting items for systematic review and meta-analysis. Okay, this includes four stages: identification stage, screening stage, and included stage. Okay, so here in identification stage, you have to identify the database, how many database you are going to use, how many registries you are going to use, repositories you are going to use. Okay, here you need to merge all the data sets and you need to identify the duplicates, and there are other ways to identify duplicates, just like the papers are retracted papers or it is not meeting the standards. The screening stage is very important, and each and every stage we need different type of software. Just like for I'm for whatever I'm conducting many SLRs nowadays, and for identification stage I'm using reference management software. For screening, I'm using AI, okay, based softwares, just like Rayan.ai I'm using for screening the result. So I'll be telling you how you can screen the result, and the final number of papers that can be included for conducting the literature classification and descriptive analysis can be presented here. So there are three stages: identification, screening, and included as per Prisma 2020 framework. But earlier version of Prisma can be also used, and that has four-stage process. Okay, so this is one of the studies which has been published. Okay, which is an SLR paper, which has been published in a reputed journal. Okay, known as Distance Education, which carries impact factor 5.5. Okay, so if you look, it uses earlier version of Prisma. So it has identification stage, screening stage, and eligibility stage. Okay, that has been merged to the identification stage now. So we have been conducting studies on research trends in online distance learning during COVID-19 pandemic, and we took we 218 papers to conduct an SLR and 478 papers to conduct a bibliometrics analysis. Okay, so how you are going to classify the literature? So classification of literature is a most complex part of the systematic literature review. You can prepare your sheets like Excel sheet in a following manner, like title, general details, introduction, theory, methods, analysis, finding. This is the one of the templates which helps you to identify the each component, like what are the theory given in the paper, what are the method it has been given, what are the analysis is, what is the key finding, and what is the potential gap. Okay, so based on the Prisma you can identify this is another template here, that just like source you can give in here, population you have given, you can given the problem and size of the samples you can. So you have to classify the literature. Now AI helps you a lot to classify the literature. So how to report the methodology and how to identify the research gap, that is a very important aspect in conducting a SLR. Okay, time is very limited, otherwise I could demonstrate you everything. So we need to use the Prisma. Prisma has earlier version. Prisma, it has four components, that is identification, screening, eligibility, and included. Now it has three component: identification, screening, and included. So identification stage, you have to define the keyword, you have to set the search strategy, and you have to extract the record. Screening stage, you have to set the inclusion and exclusion criteria, and it inclusive stage, you have to include the final number articles that to be included. You have to develop the search strategy and search string, as I have discussed in earlier slides. So data extraction process, you can use any of the database. You can use the Web of Science, Scopus, Google Scholars, or any of the database. At least I would recommend that you use 4 data sets. You can descriptive analysis and even some parts of the literature classification can be performed using Gauss Viewer, Sitespace, or Bibliometrics. You can do the literature classification using so many AI based tools, and reporting the results can be based on the methodologies that you have mentioned and the selection criteria, quality assessment. You have to detail describe the methodology. Okay, in discussion conclusion, I have already discussed that what should be included. And but whenever you conduct an SLR, there are 4 important things to remember: that you should have a clear research question, you should have a clear understanding of the key terms, you should have to develop a clear search string, as well as you don't have to include so many concepts in single SLR. So these are the key steps to conduct an SLR. For conducting an SLR, nowadays we have so many softwares available. So they are AI from developing a search strategy, okay, search string, to for descriptive analysis, literature classification in all the parts you can perform using AI. Okay, so there are so many softwares available, and most of the softwares are AI based. I'm using a AI based software which is developed by Qatar Computing Research Institute, QCRI, which is known as Rayan.ai. It is AI based application which is very good to conduct an SLR. So to conduct an SLR, basically you need several softwares for different purpose. Some of the software help you to identify the records identification stage. Some of the softwares help you at the screening stage, and some of the software help you at the conducting of SLR, literature classification, and descriptive analysis. I'm using these softwares, and it is recommended software: Rayan, SRA, Jotero, Mendeley, EndNote Desktop, Citation Chaser, as well as SciSpace. This is very good software for literature classification. So this is about Rayan, and how you can conduct SLR paper. That it will go in the same way that I have discussed in earlier slide. That you have to decide your topic, you have to develop the search strategy, you can develop the search string using AI application like ChatGPT. You can use Bing, you can use Gemini or any other softwares. Then you have to import those database in reference management software. Then you have to import those data in AI based applications. I'm going to demonstrate you that how we can go one by one. Okay, so let me go briefly because time is very limited. So what you need to do that here, my screen must be visible to you. Okay, my screen is visible, right?
Yes, it is visible. It is
Okay,
very well visible.
so what I'm telling you briefly, I'm going to summarize. Okay, time, that first you need to develop the article structure that is needed. So just like I'm showing one of the example. Okay, here, this was my title: Artificial Intelligence in Academic Institution in India, a Systematic Literature Review. Okay, so what is the search string? I have used Chat GPT to develop a search strategy, and I am searching a data sets. Okay, this is the search strategy I got. Okay, and I search in Scopus database. I got these many research, and this has been further refined by India. So I got 1101 result. Web of Science, I search. Okay, this is the search strategy, and I got 199 documents. Okay, So in screening stage, how we can go further? Okay, so here I have defined the inclusion criteria, that only those paper I have taken which is in English language, only the paper reviewed papers I have took, and only articles which has AI in reference to the academic institution should be included. Exclusion criteria I took the non-English publication, non-peer-reviewed works, conference, editorial, book review, and book chapters have been excluded. And this way, you have to develop the search study. What was the research question I framed? Okay, for the descriptive analysis, okay, I have distribution of publication I have framed. Okay, what was the distribution of publication related to AI and academia over the years time? So these are some of the descriptive analysis, and these are the literature classification research question I have framed here. Okay, so what is the next step I did? That I used a I have extracted the data from both the data sets. Here, this is the data sets. This is the Scopus data set I have extracted. This is the Web of Science data I have extracted. Then what I did, I have imported those data sets in a here. If you look at these data, first one and second one, these data set had been imported into the this reference management software. You can use Mendeley or Jetero. So when you are importing those data set, it helps to identify the duplicate items. So all the duplicates item will go in these data sets. Okay, so you see how many duplicates item it got. So if I merge the data sets, I got 486 item which is in duplicate. Here you can also merge those duplicates, okay, by the selecting the option. Just like if you're selecting, if you want to merge these two items, just click on merge two item, it will merge. Okay, so this way you identify the duplicates, that is the identification stage. Once you have done with that, so you got the final number of article. I got 1019 documents. After the finding the duplicates, these records I have exported. Okay, so you have to export the item here, okay, in RIS format, and later this should be exported, imported to one of the AI based applications. So our first part is over identification. Okay, so now screening stage started. So what I did, I have uploaded all these 1019 papers for further screening in Rayan database. This is Rayan based applications. It helps you to screen the result. So it 109 unique entries I find. Here I have to do the literature classification. And how we can do the literature classification? Just like you, if you tell me, see here that I want to include or exclude. Here there is an option just like this. I find here you will see this abstract. Even the full text can be seen here if it is available. Okay, if I found that it is based on my inclusion criteria, if it is available, it is relevant, then I will put included. So it will be a green symbol. If I put exclusive, then I have to give the reason. Just like I want to exclude this result, so I will put excluded. Then I have to define the label. Just like I could mention that that it is wrong study design. You can also define the different labels here. You can add different label based on the parameters you have selected. Once you have done with the literature classification, this is screening. You have to export these results, okay, for further analysis using different softwares. So descriptive analysis can be taken from here. Just like here you can see that how many papers you have included, how many papers you have excluded in the as per Prisma framework. Here keyword distribution is there. Here you can see the key topic wise distribution is there, general wise distribution is there, most prolific author is there, year wise distribution. That can be descriptive analysis part can be taken. Once you export, you can take, but later you have to do the literature classification. Okay, and literature classification, you can use AI or you can do the manual process. I use a AI based application which is known as Space. Okay, let me show you how it works. Here, this helps you. This will help you for the literature classification in some extent. So you have a lot to classify the literature. Okay, so let me. It is taking time. Just like what you need to do, that full text of the paper that you can include here. Okay, and it will extract everything from that papers. You won't have to read the full text. Okay, just like I have here, you can add the columns what you want. Here you can add the number of columns which can be used, just like you want theories, you want the concept, you want methods, so it can be used. Here you can see that it has extracted from the papers. I have uploaded the full text. It has been extracted, the limitation, contribution, everything, and only these can be exported and it can be used for literature. So descriptive analysis you can take from the Rayan. Okay, and literature classification you can perform manually, or you can use a a size space or similar kind of AI based application. This is also AI based application. You see, every paper I have uploaded here, it extracted the key terms: contribution, purpose, strength, weakness, context, everything it has been extracted. So you won't have to read. Okay. So only you have to check whether it has been extracted the relevant information or not, and you should make a Excel sheet. So this way we can conduct an SLR in easy steps. At the larger level, if you go for advanced systematic literature and review and meta-analysis, you can conduct SLR with the bibliometric analysis that I have demonstrated, that we have conducted a study and we have conducted bibliometric analysis as well as SLR together. You can go for meta-analysis, just like you can have a statistical inferences, statistical method you can deploy to have a correlation analysis. So that can be also possible. Nowadays people are using structural equation modeling techniques, NVO softwares, for literature classification and systematic review. That can be also possible. And at advanced level, people are also conducting a multi-level meta-analysis. Okay, that is another dimension. So this topic is somehow, it is very practical, very relevant, and very trendy nowadays. Okay, due to the time constraint and limitations of um, time limitations, I was not able to demonstrate everything that could be helps you to develop your concept on SLR. But briefly, I have summarized that how we can use the AI, just like Chat GPT or Gemini or Rayan AI or Space AI, for descriptive analysis part and literature classification part. So if you look at any SLR paper, the key concept is the Prisma, which has three component: identification, screening, and included stage. So in we required softwares, AI based application at the identification and screening stage. Once you have done, then you go for conducting descriptive analysis, which is very easy through the RAR, and the literature classification. For further literature classification, you can do manually, or you can uh, go for size space kind of AI based application. So I hope it added something to your learning curve, and it helps you to explore further in a in the domain of uh, SLR. So once again, thank you for Librarian Guide for giving me the opportunity. And if you have any questions or anything to ask, I would be happy to answer your query. Thank you so much, and sorry for interruption in between.
Indeed, it has been very informative session, especially for the researchers and all those who are directly involved in the research writing. I am 100% sure that this particular session will help many professionals, and they will find it easy and they will find it very relevant for conceptualizing or writing their research output. Uh, if any participant is having any query or question, so the question is welcome. You can just enter your question in the chat box, or if it is not ready with you, you can drop me mail at dptripathi79 at gmail.com or librarianguide
Even
at
you can
gmail.com.
contact me directly. Okay, there is no issue.
Huh.
I have been working with so many SLR papers. I would tell you because it is a very comprehensive topic. It cannot be completed in 1 hour. It need 2 3 days to complete entire aspect because it has several steps to adopt, and each stage has a rigorous scientific methodologies to be followed. Even for developing a prisma, the whole included screening and included stage, you required a lot of expertise and a lot of efforts and time um, to conduct an SLR. But frankly speaking, this is very trendy topic nowadays. And if you are good in conducting an SLR, then you can publish lots of good quality papers in a most reputed journals in any field of study, because it is not limited to a
Sure,
particular
sir.
domain.
So I think it's a good opportunity for all the learners to learn the different steps of SLR and just submit the paper to the reputed journals. And one more thing I would like to mention here that as the distinguished speaker Dr. Pandey has already mentioned, you can directly approach him or send him mail regarding any query, as his health is not good and time is also not permitting. So we will not trouble him more. But yes, of course, if you have any query or question, so you please contact us. We will definitely help you out. So
If
on
you have
behalf
any
of all
question,
the
you can.
participants,
Yeah, okay, okay, no issue.
yes. Yes, so far I have not received any question in the
Okay, no
chat
issue.
history. So please accept our sincere thanks for joining the third day event and giving the inputs, which is really going to be very beneficial in true sense. They will all utilize the knowledge what they have gained in this particular session for the better research, and in future also will seek your cooperation and assistance to train more number of professionals who are really interested to learn about the systematic literature review, which is special reference to artificial intelligence tools, because these days AI tools are more in number, and most of the people they have query that how they can make use of these AI in different, not only SLR, in different you can say the field of library science. So we will see that how we can bring some more useful session for all the professionals and profession as well. So with the means we are really thankful to you to find time from your busy schedule, sir, and delivering a useful talk. So
Thank you
thank
so
you very
much.
much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night to you, and wish you a very happy and healthy evening.
Thank you.
Now, I would like to announce one more thing, one more important this title, or you can say the aspect of this workshop. Many participants have requested to continue this workshop and not limit this workshop only to 3 days. So, keeping the request of other participants and professionals, we are extending the workshop days. We are not closing it today because there are many number of means requests I have received, and also the different topics to cover, especially for the professionals. So we are not closing the session, I mean the event today. We will continue, but we are not going to continue every day. We will see that we conduct the activity on Saturday and Sunday especially, and this will remain as international workshop, because I got some good speaker to speak on the different topics relevant to the library science. So they also will deliver the talk, and when we are going to announce the closing, I will let you know, and that time we will issue the certificate as well to all the registered participants. One more thing I would like to mention here, that this event does not include any registration fee. It is completely free of cost. We are not charging any amount or any registration fee for this particular event. We have received more than 1,400 registration, and I am really thankful to all the professionals who are taking active part in this event. It is going to be really helpful for those who are really interested to learn. So make use of such interactive sessions, and the experience of the different speakers who are working in the different domain in the different parts of country or globe. Because when we request to any speaker, they also come well prepared for giving you something different. So my request to all the professionals, that you please see the video, just learn from the experience which we are getting from the different speakers. So I will let you all know the next session and date with topic, and also the name of the speaker. Till then, good day, good evening. All of you, please stay healthy, stay happy, and we will meet in other session. Thank you all for joining. Thank you everyone for your kind cooperation and assistance to make this event successful and meaningful. So we will meet again in the next session. Till then, good night to you all. Take care of yourself, your family, and everyone.